Greetings, I am Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Gladiator, today with Pillar Love's Tabletop Games. The special expansion episode. I've already covered Hegemony, Lead Your Class to Victory, so today I'm covering Crisis and Control, The Path to Rule the Nation, the expansion to the Hegemony. So this game contains a number of mini expansions. First, we'll start with the back of the book and make our way forward. Action cards. These get added to the decks of the respective players that are not being replaced with Anima. Make sure all players agree to using them before the start of the game. You'll know that they're the expansion ones because of the dots on the side of the names. In general, all four classes are getting approximately the same set of cards with one varied difference. So, change of government agenda. If there are 3 or less proposed bills, discard a bill proposed by another player. Then you may both propose a bill for a different policy. With you going first. So, there's not a whole lot of changes. You set up a change for something else, and they set up a change somewhere else, and that policy gets left the hell alone. There's protect the status quo. Choose a policy. For the rest of this round, no bills may be proposed for that policy. Place one of your bill markers in its current section as a reminder, and then get 1 influence. A lot of messing with the politics in this one. Reveal political scandal. Take 2 influence from another player. Momentum for change. Get 1 influence for each bill marker of yours on the politics table. Then propose a bill. You may not call for an immediate vote on this bill. Presumably, you could play it with all 3 of your bill markers out there. You just won't be able to propose the bill. And then each class has its own version of something with regard to the recent-ish pandemic. So for the state, they have the program of buying healthcare and providing to the working and middle classes. The capitalists get money from the state for each operational healthcare company. Middle class gets 2 money from the state for each employed worker you have in public and capitalist class companies, and 4 for each company you own. And the working class get health care from the state, up to half your population without paying its cost. You may then buy health care from any number of sources up to your population from each. Yep. More messing around with the politics, and then it's different approaches to either getting money or getting health care. Or providing health care. But that'll raise every player's deck from, 40 to 45 cards each. But that's probably the simplest one to add to the game. A little less simply is the Hidden Agenda mini expansion. You will have a set of 5 cards. You will randomly get 2 of them at the start of the game. You will keep 1 of the 2, put the other back in the box, and your goal is to fulfill this objective by the timing listed. So for state-led economy for the state, they need to be at the policy needs to be at 1A. which is the socialist fiscal policy, and they have to have at least 6 public companies operational, which is going to require a lot of workers from either working class or middle class, and that's worth 8 points to them. The goals vary, but they usually fit in line with the overall way the class works. And as far as points go, they're anywhere from 4, 5, 8, 8, or 10 points. The 10s are usually the hardest ones to cover. But then again, sometimes the 4s are a little bit tricky as well. Like, the state has a expert budgeter. Finish the game without taking a loan if you ever take a loan as part of this agenda. And you have until the end of the game to pull it off. But it's only 4 points. They presume you're going to fail. On the flip side is a strong welfare state. At least 150 in the state treasury and socialist welfare policies. Which is at any time, and it's 10 points. According to plan, have at least 4 policies match your current political agenda card for 5 points. And Leviathan, perform the task of at least 10 events. In a 5-round game, at 2 events per round, you have to be on the ball to pull this off. That's one of the harder ones. Yeah, the other. Do I want to go into how far in depth do I want to go for each of these? We've got for the capitalists, toward a neoliberal state. You have to have at least 3 neoliberal policies, and anytime after the first round, and it's worth 4 points. Venture capitalist, $320 in your capital by the end of the game, and it's 5 points. Diversified portfolio. At least 2 of each type of company, industry. 2 companies of a given industry for each of the 5 industries. And it's 8 points at the end. Export tycoon. Get at least $240 in a single sell to the foreign market action. Ooh. Just realized that the lighting is a little bit kind of problematic. Hold on. And let's see this. Yeah, that helps. Okay. Corporate empire. It's a 10-pointer. Have 12 companies, and at least 11 of them must be operational. There's the big goal for the capitalists. For the middle class, golden compromise. Have policies 1 through 5 in section B at any time. So for things that rely on like the policies, it has to be done. The whole policy change phase has to be done. But it's only 4 points. Not too hard, but it's. We work, we thrive. Have no unemployed middle class workers by the end of the game. Entrepreneur. Have at least 8 of each type of non-influence good in your storages. It's worth 8 points. It's possible. Successful startup. By the end of the 3rd round, you have to have 5 fully operational companies. The lighting is still messed up here. It's worth 8 points. And as long as you got the money for the business and the workers. And then their big goal. Growing middle class. Have 8 fully operational companies and have workers in at least 5 public and or capitalist class companies. It's worth 10 points. Sorry about that. Alright. And then finally, the working class goals of rally the masses, have at least 6 influence. It's 4 points. With enough trade union leaders, it's easy. Small labor force. Have a population of 7 or less by the end of the game. It's 5 points. Which, on their following their track, it's like less 20 or less actual workers. Workers unite. Have at least 4 trade unions. The surplus value is a horse. It's worth 8 points during the production phase. Get at least $240 on wages in a single production phase. Requires a lot of businesses out there, or wages being really high. Working class push is their big one. Pass 3 bills you have proposed during the same elections phase. It's a 10-pointer. Yeah, everyone's got their different challenges to go for. And every game's going to be 2 different options. So it'll be interesting to see the dynamics of what people are trying to go for, depending on the goal that they've went with. Okay. Yep. The third, from the back, we've got alternative events. There's the event side, or the back of those. So it's more of a unique set of events, but with something a little bit extra. You'll notice at the bottom this extra text. So if you fulfill it and it's only going to one person, they have the option to either keep it for its effect or discard it for a victory point. In general, during the last round of the game, these are going to be discarded for a victory point. Because it's already, a lot of stuff's been resolved. But you'll get whatever the text says as an ability. So, like, demand for startup support, choose either the middle class or the capitalists. Whenever you build a company, the state pays 10 money of its costs and gets 1 victory point. Yeah, it'll be things like that. But otherwise, it's basically the usual usual kinds of events, but generally it's going to be its own set. The second from the front mini expansion, we have the crisis response. So, if the state is ever in serious financial difficulties, they'll have to deal with the International Monetary Fund to intervene. What this will do instead is, whenever that happens, a random card will be drawn from the stack and be resolved. So we'll have discard the proposed bills. This one will be all of them. Some might be more specific, like discard only the policies on 2 and 7. Yeah, others are pretty much just wipe the slate clean of policy suggestions. IMF intervention with resistance, all policies except 4 and 5. Yeah. Then policies will be changed. This follows the. This card specifically goes by the old IMF scenario. However, one of the little extra things now is these little lock tokens. They will go around the policies that are at those locations now, after being changed. No bills can be proposed for those policies at all until the check IMF step of next round. And then pay off the loans, and then legitimacy is lost. Again, the usual is the state reduces legitimacy to half for each class rounded up. Others might reduce by other amounts. Like each class might have to pay money to the state, and every 10 it gets from that class is a -1. The revolution will lose legitimacy from the capitalists and the middle class. One of the potentials is the new government bond program. So each class, in reverse player order, may pay 30 or 50 bucks to the state. If the amount gathered is not enough to pay the state loans, return that money and draw a new crisis response card. If it is, the state pays off its loans. Nothing further happens in this step, but it must pay back either 40 or 70 each class got money from by the end of the action phase next round. So you're counting on the other classes to bail you out hard. Let's see. The Washington consensus is legitimacy lost from the working and middle class. U.S. stimulus package also loses working class and middle class legitimacy. EU austerity measures reduce legitimacy for half of each class. Yeah. Japanese model, which gives the state 40 bucks. It opens up foreign trade big time, but it shuts down immigration hard. Yeah, everyone will be its own challenge to deal with, which is cool. It's a way to mix up the usual. Okay, and then I deliberately left this to last because it's one of the trickier ones to figure out. The big thing provided by this expansion, and the one I'm looking forward to messing with as part of a watch me play it solo video, are the automas. We have the working class automa. Ooh. We have those switched. Yeah. We have the middle class automa. And we have the capitalist automa. There is no automa for the state. The point is to have a 3-player game of someone gets to play as the state, and then one of the other classes is automatically run by a deck of cards. Normally, the only way to play a 3-player is to leave the state out. But with the automa, you can do the 3-player and have someone be the state, and have something be run automatically. There are 2 modes for running the automa. There's a simple mode. You'll have the usual stack of stuff. If there are cards, it will shuffle them. At the beginning of their turn, any free actions if needed. And then reveal the top card. There will be things that lead a given class to consider taking free actions. But after that, there's the card will be revealed. Each AI card lists 4 actions from left to right. So, for the Automa player, for the working class specifically, we have assign workers, propose bill, buy goods and services, and strike. And those will have their criteria listed as well for how those actions are handled. If the first action is the one they are eligible to do, then this special bonus gets added as well. If they're unable to perform any of those 4 actions, it will attempt to do the special action instead. If it's unable to do even that, it will apply political pressure, which is add 3 cubes to the voting bag. And then it's and then it turns over unless it's got 3 actions that it can do now. Let's see. Yeah, like the working class Automa will try to use healthcare, education, and luxury towards improving prosperity. And yeah. Alternatively, swapping workers, receiving benefits, paying off loans. The others will have their own approaches as well. The simple mode will just need these cards. The advanced mode goes a little bit further in providing kind of a guidance of how it will do things, like checking workers and policies and such. And then we'll have these cards set up. So let's go ahead and cover that. So set up for advanced mode. It's going to be focused on trying to... Alright, so this is the bottom where the deck will be. It has a low priority on demonstration. Strike. Oop. And it's special action. Every Automa will have its own special action. And we'll try to prioritize assigning workers, buying goods and services, proposing bills. And then its political priorities are the fiscal policy, and education up top, followed by labor market, healthcare, foreign trade, and then it's not too worried on either taxation or immigration right now. Okay. So they'll be shuffled, and then it'll reveal the card, and then it will check. So says check workers. There's swap any skilled workers and unskilled slots with unskilled unemployed workers if possible. That'll open up your workers who can actually do more advanced stuff to go elsewhere. And then check if there's a way to assign workers so that at least 2 unemployed workers become employed. Improve that improves. If there's a way to assign workers that will form 1 or more trade unions, will go up 2. The previous questions do not cause the priority card to move, then it'll make the special action card move up. Okay. When a card moves up to a level, it'll be to the left. Towards making that, towards eventually making that priority in line. And then after those, after checking the workers, then we'll check for policies, and then goods and services, and then strike, in that order. I think they pretty much stay. No, they vary. They vary. The only thing they have that's guaranteed at the end is strike. Just the last thing they check. Yeah. So we'll do all the checks for those actions. Keep in mind the bonus as well for the first one. Okay. So the cards will move up. And then some of the checks might cause these policies to move up as well. Like this will move up the education and the immigration as well. Let's see here. Student policy priority card is not set aside. Have at least one bill marker. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there'll be all those things to check and move up. And then after things are moved up, things will collapse downward again. Well, let's say that got moved up. And that got moved up. Then it'll slide down that way. And then the automobile will perform its highest priority action. If there are multiple cards, it goes to the one closest to the marker. If it can't do that one, then it goes to the second highest priority. If it can't do either of these, Then it does the apply political pressure, adding its 3 cubes to the voting bag. That's it. After the whatever action ends up performed, the card goes 2 rows downward. And then, and then the automa's done, unless it has any free actions to be done. Yeah. Then there's this whole craziness with proposing bills and spending influence and such, and desired policies to figure out. Yeah. It's possible that if you're playing with multiple automas, they will end up being considered the same side um, for adding influence together, and whether or not they spend influence towards shifting policies. Yeah, this is the one thing I still have to read through a little bit further, but it is interesting just to see how they have the 2 options of play it kind of dumb or play it unusually smart. In a way, it kind of reminds me of the approach they took with Root. And that one was tricky. But yeah, that is. Oh, yeah. Automa and the other expansions, how those work out. So, hidden agendas. If the hidden agendas are in use, what they'll do is they'll take all 5 cards, and they'll be put face up on the table, and if any of the tasks are achieved, they are flipped face down, and at the end of the game, the card with the most points among the face down is awarded. Crisis response. When removing workers, they remove the unskilled ones first if able, for things that require them to remove workers, like moderate IMF intervention. So, and then in the case of your government bond program, what you'll do is you'll draw a random card, and if it has the little influence symbol on the corner, they'll do the it'll give the money. Alternative events. When Automi receives an alternative event, if it's within round support, keeps it, otherwise it gets the victory point. And it will always make use of its benefits. And finally, I don't have them, but there's an expansion called Historical Events that will make use of the free actions at the end of their turn from them. Yeah, I really need to read through this a little bit further, which I'll be doing when I do the Watch Me Play It solo for this game with the Automa. I'm debating whether to do for that one either play as the state and deal with 3 very chaotic classes, or play as a capitalist against a automated working class, because I like money. But yeah, that is Crisis and Control. Expansion Hegemony. It is available. If you liked Hegemony, this has a lot to offer. Go check it out. Enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Pillar Nexus, and I'll see you next time.